What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the worst and best star powers and gadgets in the game right now. So combining it all into one, because a lot of these don't really change except for when the new brawlers come out, but every 2 or 3 months we like to update this. So make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. We're getting close to 250,000. Your support has been insane recently, so continue on. We're trying to get towards 1 mil. Anyways, going to be starting off with the best star powers, and to start off with my favorite star power in the game right now is Empower with Angelo. So what this star power does, it heals you up for 600 per second. The reason why it's so good is because it nearly heals you back up to full, and with brawlers like Angelo and Hank, it's really hard to heal up automatically, so it takes 2 shots to get your super, and then you can start healing back up again. And it really complements Angelo, if you get what I mean, because normally you'd have to just run back, not charge up your attack, and then heal up and then start your charging. But with this star power, you can charge up all of the time. So I just love this. It allows you to create so many good plays. Gale's star power, Freezing Snow, is one of my favorite star powers for sure, especially if you're playing ranked on quickfire. This star power is absolutely insane. You're literally a shotgunner with this star power, but even outside of quickfire, it's built in slow with his main attack. It's such a good star power and always pretty underrated. So next we have Monkey Business with Miko. So every 5 seconds you fill up the bar, and when you hit an opponent, you literally steal their ammo. This is just so essential for Miko. Without it, I think Miko is like a D tier brawler, but with it, it makes him easily an A tier brawler. You can win pretty much every single matchup because of this star power. It's so essential. Next up we have Piper's star power called Snappy Sniping. So every single time you hit an opponent, an object, a spawner, a high safe, you'll get 0.4 of your ammo back, which is absolutely insane. And it's the reason why you're able to really compete with Piper, because she has such a slow reload speed. So if you start connecting those shots, you can get so much damage on the opponents. And the main reason why I love it as well, because it pairs really well with both gadgets. Even if you hit an opponent with auto aimer, it gets part of your main attack ammo back. Same with the homemade recipe as well. So it just combines really well with Piper. See, for the star powers, we have Hyperthermia with Lou. So what the star power does, the opponents can lose up to 50% of their main attack damage, depending on how frozen they are. So of course, the more frozen, the more percentages is taken away from their main attack, which is just crazy strong. So strong, especially if you combine it with his gadget as well. You could literally just throw a super onto multiple opponents and they'll lose what, like 25% at least of their main attack damage. And especially if they're so close from getting frozen, they deal no damage to you. It's just crazy how underrated this star power is. So now moving on to the worst star powers in the game right now. So I'm fully aware that there's probably a few on this list that I won't include because they're on it every single time, you know, like Sam's star power, for example. But we're going to be starting off with Buster's star power called Blockbuster. So nobody talks about how useless this star power is. A 15% increase for every ally within your kind of supercharging radius, but it's a very, very rare situation where all 3 of your teammates are literally following you around the map. And even at that, it's not even a big damage boost. What, 15% for one ally? You're not going to feel that whatsoever. And again, grouping up with your teammates is just not worthwhile unless you're on a really camp heavy map. On Knockout, that's probably the only way I see it being beneficial, but at the same time, I see no one use it and no one talks about it. So on the worst star power list, we have Pinpoint Precision with Maisie. So what this does is when you shoot your main attack, it will do 20% extra damage if it's at max distance. So there's multiple reasons why this star power is just trash to me. So the first one being because Maisie's main attack is just really hard to hit anyways, and even if you do hit it, by the time it's at maximum range, more than likely if your opponents literally open their eyes, they can just dodge Maisie's attack. The main way you can of course hit Maisie attack is if you probably get close to them. It's much harder to dodge at that point in time. For me, I just never get value out of it, and even if you hit an opponent, you need it to hit at maximum distance to get value. Everyone just uses a Tremor star power. I don't think I've ever seen anyone use this star power. So next up on the worst star power list, we have Rolling Reload with Daryl. So you guys know I don't really like this star power because it kind of defeats the purpose of playing Daryl. Most of the time when you're rolling in, you're essentially going to use 3 pieces of ammo, and then your star power will kick in, but it will only maybe increase like an extra ammo for you. That's not really anything, especially when you compare it to his other star power. It's just worthless. There's hardly any times where you're going to get true value out of Rolling Reload unless you chain supers, which is really hard with Daryl. So again, I don't really find any benefits with this star power. So next up on the worst star power list, we have Power Throw with Cole. So again, there are worse star powers out here, but I feel like I need to highlight some that people never talk about. And Power Throw is a star power I never use with Cole. Even in a meta where everybody cancels Cole's super, Power Throw is just not noticeable whatsoever. I'd like for him to increase the stat boost by a little bit, by like 15% extra speed. But like I said, this is supposed to increase your pickaxe speed by 10%, and you don't really feel it. I don't feel like it actually benefits you at all. Lastly, for the worst star power list, we have Power Hungry with Kit. So this star power is actually good. The reason why I'm putting it in the worst star power list is because I just hate this star power fundamentally. I just don't understand how a star power can literally only be usable in Showdown and Duo Showdown. I don't understand that concept. I know there's an argument where, you know, for example, you've got Magic Puffs with June where you can only really use it in a team setting, but at least you can use it in like Duo Showdown, for example. This one you can only use in 2 game modes. That's just crazy to me. It should definitely get reworked. So now we're moving on to the gadgets, starting off with the best gadgets in the game. And we're going to start off with the cheesiest one, which is Spiders with Charlie. So this gadget is just crazy strong, especially since the introduction of the extra gadget gear. You can just spam out 3 spiders and they're just going to chase the opponents down. They're going to tank for you, and especially against sharpshooters, it's going to take 3 pieces of ammo to destroy every single one. You think about that. You do that 4 times a game and you're just going to win lane. You know, sometimes I just literally spam green button, I win lane, and I win game. So next up, we have Pearl's Overcooked gadget. So whenever you use your next main attack with this gadget activated, it'll deal an additional 33% damage over 3 seconds. So the reason why this is so good is because when you fully heat up with Pearl, you can pop this gadget and just deal insane amounts of damage, and you one-shot so many brawlers, especially in the knockout meta. So this gadget is so cheesy and so strong. So next up on the best gadget list, we have Larry's gadget called Order Fullback. So whenever you press this gadget, Larry and Laurie will switch positions and both of them will heal up for 33% of their max HP. So this is just insane. You literally cannot die. If you pair this as well with the Protect star power as well, you just cannot die. If you switch positions as well, you can make so many good plays, and you can literally switch positions from the other side of the map. It's just a crazy gadget and one of the best in the game for sure. So next up on the best gadget list, we have Leon's gadget called Lollipop Drop. So whenever you press this gadget, you will create a stealthy area where you and your teammates can just go invisible at any point in time. It will deplete over time, but it's just so essential, especially like your teammates can literally go invisible. It's so good in every single scenario. Multiple people invisible, it's just broken. And lastly on the best gadget list, we have Kit's gadget called Cardboard Box. So whenever you activate this gadget, you will go invis for 5 seconds. So that's just crazy how you can press a green button and go invisible 5 seconds. You've basically got a mini Leon super, nearly a Leon super with a click of a button. So for me, it's easily one of the best gadgets in the game. So now moving into the worst gadgets in the game, starting off with the worst gadget for sure is Artie's gadget in line. So whenever you split from your legs, a like signal will go from your legs to your body and deal damage, but it's the hardest thing to hit ever. I think I've maybe hit like 2 opponents in about 100 games using this gadget. Remember on release, it's been over a year since this gadget's in the game and it's not been reworked. I'm unsure why. I think it's the only unusable gadget in the game. Next up in the worst gadget list, we have Otis's gadget called Dormant Star. So when you take a look at this fundamentally, it's actually a good gadget because you think you don't want to waste your super. It's hard to get with Otis, but the way you play Otis, you don't want to snipe people across the map with the mute, because by the time they're unmuted, you're not going to be able to get enough damage. The way you play Otis is you use the mute when you're literally right on top of an opponent, so you can destroy them so quickly. So Dormant Star doesn't make sense to me because the way you play Otis, you're never going to miss supers really. Next up on the worst gadget list, we have a Bonnie's gadget called Crash Test. So whenever you're in the smaller form, you can dash and knock opponents back and deal a little bit of damage. But after playing this since release, it's just absolutely terrible. The dash is just so small. I feel like we just need to increase the radius of the dash so she can make more plays like a long dash Stu. But until we do that, it's going to be one of the worst gadgets in the game. Next up, we have BB's gadget called Extra Sticky. So whenever you activate this gadget with your super, you will slow opponents for 3 seconds upon impact. It's always been a pretty bad gadget, but now it's even worse because with Hypercharge, this gadget doesn't actually work. So why would you use this gadget? Because of its glitch. But even without it, it's just absolutely terrible. So moving into the final gadget on the list, we have Fidget Spinner with Dynamite. So since its introduction, it's been absolutely terrible. I'll admit, sometimes if you want to have fun, I'll switch to this gadget, especially because I'm not a good Dynamite player, so I don't hit many satchel charges. But it's very rare that you even hit anyone with it. But if it does, it deals 2,400 damage, so at least that's okay. At least you get a small movement speed buff. But except for that, it's not really the greatest. Literally, his other gadget is the best in the game, and this is one of the worst. So that's going to be it for today's video. A lot of these again are repeated, so let me know whether you want to see this less frequently. But I thought I'd update it for now because there's a lot of new viewers on the channel. Maybe you don't know what the best gadgets and star powers are. So that's going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.